The Edo period, spanning from 1603 to 1868, was a time of great significance in Japanese history. One interesting aspect of this period was the strict upbringing and training of young samurai, emphasizing qualities such as courage, endurance, and loyalty. Samurai were taught to prioritize the well-being of their feudal lord over their own lives, shaping them into fearless and bold warriors. To instill these values, young samurai were exposed to tales of bravery, theatrical performances, and even sent on daring missions to cemeteries and other eerie locations. Additionally, they were subjected to grueling tasks and sleepless nights to cultivate patience and resilience. Women of the samurai class, known as onabuke, typically did not participate in battles unless they acquired specific skills, in which case they were referred to as onabugeisha. The ethical code of the samurai, known as Bushido, was formalized during this period, with severe consequences for those who violated its principles, such as expulsion from the samurai ranks or ritual suicide. The Edo period also saw the hierarchical structure of samurai society, with positions ranging from the powerful shogun to the lowly ronin, who were masterless samurai. Understanding these intricacies is crucial to appreciating the complexities of this golden age of the samurai. The rise of the samurai class during the Edo period was a pivotal moment in Japanese history, shaping the social structure and values of the time. Education within families and guidance from teachers were fundamental in molding the youth of the samurai class, instilling the ideals of a warrior based on mythical tales, Buddhist indifference to death, fear, and pain, Confucian respect for filial piety, and Japanese loyalty to their feudal lord. Families and mentors focused on developing the character of adolescents, fostering courage, endurance, and patience. Young samurai were raised to be fearless and bold, qualities considered paramount virtues among samurai, allowing a warrior to prioritize another's life over their own. This character development was nurtured through reading stories of bravery and legendary heroes, renowned military leaders, and samurai, as well as watching theatrical performances. Fathers often instructed future warriors to cultivate courage by venturing to cemeteries or notorious locations at night. Boys were exposed to public punishments, executions, and tasked with leaving their mark on the severed heads of criminals to prove their presence. To cultivate patience and endurance, sons of warriors were made to perform arduous tasks, endure sleepless nights during religious festivals, walk barefoot in winter, rise early, and more. Inadvertent deprivation of food was considered beneficial. Women of the samurai class, known as onabuke, typically did not engage in battles unless they acquired specific skills, in which case they were referred to as onabugeisha. The ethical code of the samurai in medieval Japan was formalized during the Edo period, with severe consequences for violations such as expulsion from the samurai ranks or ritual suicide. The hierarchical structure of samurai society included the shogun as the hereditary military dictator, daimyo as samurai princes, samurai vassals known as samurai, lower-ranking feudal lords called baijin and dan, hatamoto as personal samurai of the shogun or daimyo, gokenin as personal samurai of the shogun, kenin as common samurai, ji-samurai who, instead of a stipend, had such a tiny land allotment that they had to engage in peasant labor, ronin as masterless samurai without a stipend. After the Meiji Restoration, they were classified as commoners, but later received personal non-hereditary stipends, and their descendants transitioned to commoners. The Samurai Code of Bushido, the ethical code of behavior for samurai in medieval Japan, emerged during the Edo period, formalized in the early years of the Tokugawa shogunate. This code, which originated in the 11th to 14th centuries, emphasized values such as loyalty, honor, and self-discipline. It dictated that a samurai should exhibit courage, integrity, and respect for others, especially their feudal lord. Adherence to Bushido was paramount, and failure to uphold its principles could result in disgraceful expulsion from the samurai ranks or the act of ritual suicide known as harakiri. The hierarchical structure of samurai society during this period included the shogun as the hereditary military dictator, daimyo as samurai princes, samurai vassals known as samurai, lower-ranking feudal lords called baijin and dan, hatamoto as personal samurai of the shogun or daimyo, Gokenin as personal samurai of the shogun, Kenin as common samurai, G-samurai who, instead of a stipend, had such a tiny land allotment that they had to engage in peasant labor, Ronin as masterless samurai without a stipend. After the Meiji Restoration, they were classified as commoners, but later received personal non-hereditary stipends, and their descendants transitioned to commoners. During the Edo period, Japan implemented strict isolationist policies known as sakoku, which aimed to limit foreign influence and control interactions with the outside world. These policies were enforced by the Tokugawa shogunate to maintain stability and prevent foreign powers from interfering in Japanese affairs. One of the key aspects of these policies was the restriction of foreign trade, with only limited contact allowed through designated ports such as Nagasaki. The number of foreign traders was strictly regulated, and Japanese citizens were prohibited from traveling abroad. The only exception was the Dutch, who were permitted to trade with Japan under strict conditions on Dejima, a small artificial island in Nagasaki. This isolationist approach led to a significant decrease in cultural exchange with other countries, but it also allowed Japan to develop its unique cultural identity and traditions. The Edo period saw the implementation of strict social hierarchies and the enforcement of a rigid class system, with samurai at the top followed by peasants, artisans, and merchants. This system aimed to maintain social order and stability within Japanese society. The isolationist policies of the Edo period had a profound impact on Japan's economy, as the country focused on self-sufficiency and domestic production. Despite the restrictions on foreign trade, Japan experienced periods of economic growth and prosperity during this time. The Edo period also witnessed the flourishing of traditional arts such as kabuki theater, ukiyo-e woodblock prints, and tea ceremonies. These cultural developments were supported by the patronage of the ruling samurai class and contributed to the rich artistic heritage of Japan. The strict enforcement of isolationist policies during the Edo period eventually led to the decline of the shogunate and the opening of Japan to the outside world during the Meiji Restoration in 1868. This period marked a significant shift in Japan's foreign relations and set the stage for the country's modernization and industrialization in the following decades. The isolationist policies of the Edo period, known as sakoku, had a profound impact on Japanese society, shaping its development and interactions with the outside world. By restricting foreign trade and contact, Japan aimed to maintain stability and prevent external influence. This isolation led to a significant decrease in cultural exchange with other countries, but it also allowed Japan to cultivate its unique cultural identity and traditions. The limited contact with foreigners, primarily through designated ports like Nagasaki, resulted in a controlled flow of information and goods. The number of foreign traders was strictly regulated, and Japanese citizens were prohibited from traveling abroad, except for the Dutch who were confined to Dejima, a small artificial island in Nagasaki. Despite the restrictions on foreign trade, Japan experienced periods of economic growth and prosperity during this time. The focus on self-sufficiency and domestic production led to the development of various industries and crafts within Japan. The strict social hierarchies and class system enforced during the Edo period were also influenced by the isolationist policies. The rigid structure of samurai at the top, followed by peasants, artisans, and merchants, aimed to maintain social order and stability within Japanese society. The isolationist policies of the Edo period eventually contributed to the decline of the shogunate and the opening of Japan to the outside world during the Meiji Restoration in 1868. This period marked a significant shift in Japan's foreign relations and set the stage for the country's modernization and industrialization in the following decades. Cultural developments during the Edo period were characterized by a flourishing of traditional arts and a rich cultural heritage. One of the most notable art forms to emerge during this period was kabuki theater, known for its vibrant costumes, dramatic performances, and stylized gestures. Kabuki plays often depicted historical events, moral dilemmas, and supernatural tales, captivating audiences with their elaborate sets and dynamic storytelling. Another significant cultural development was the rise of ukiyo-e woodblock prints. which became popular among the common people for their colorful and detailed depictions of landscapes, actors, and scenes from daily life. These prints were mass-produced and widely circulated, contributing to the dissemination of art and culture throughout Japan. Tea ceremonies also gained prominence during the Edo period, evolving into a highly ritualized practice that emphasized harmony, respect, and tranquility. The tea ceremony became a symbol of refinement and elegance, with participants following strict etiquette and procedures to prepare and serve matcha, powdered green tea. The Edo period also saw the development of haiku poetry, a concise form of verse that captured fleeting moments of beauty and contemplation. Haiku poets such as Matsuo Basho mastered the art of expressing profound emotions and insights in just a few lines, inspiring generations of writers and artists. In addition to these artistic achievements, the Edo period witnessed advancements in architecture, with the construction of iconic landmarks such as Edo Castle and Himeji Castle. These architectural marvels combine traditional Japanese design elements with innovative techniques, showcasing the craftsmanship and ingenuity of the period. Overall, the cultural developments of the Edo period reflected a society that valued creativity, beauty, and tradition, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to inspire and enchant audiences around the world. The end of the Edo period marked a significant turning point in Japanese history, leading to the Meiji Restoration in 1868. This period of transition saw the decline of the Tokugawa shogunate and the restoration of imperial rule under Emperor Meiji. The Meiji Restoration aimed to modernize Japan and strengthen its position on the global stage, initiating a series of political, social, and economic reforms. One of the key reforms introduced during this period was the abolition of the feudal system, which had long defined Japanese society. The samurai class, once revered as the warrior elite, saw their privileges diminished as Japan shifted towards a more centralized government structure. The Meiji government also implemented policies to promote industrialization and modernization, drawing inspiration from Western models and technologies. These reforms led to rapid economic growth and technological advancement, transforming Japan into a modern industrialized nation. The Meiji Restoration also brought about significant changes in education, with the establishment of a national education system aimed at fostering a sense of national identity and loyalty to the emperor. The promotion of Western-style education and the adoption of new technologies helped Japan to catch up with Western powers and assert itself as a major player in the global arena. The Meiji Restoration laid the foundation for Japan's emergence as a modern nation-state, setting the stage for its rapid development and transformation in the 20th century. The legacy of the Meiji Restoration continues to shape Japan's identity and influence its policies and practices to this day. The legacy of the samurai in modern Japan continues to resonate in various aspects of Japanese society and culture. While the traditional role of the samurai as warriors has evolved over time, their influence can still be seen in contemporary Japan. One interesting aspect of the samurai legacy is the enduring fascination with Bushido, the samurai code of honor and ethics. This code, emphasizing values such as loyalty, courage, and self-discipline, continues to inspire individuals in Japan and around the world. The spirit of Bushido is often invoked in discussions of personal integrity, moral conduct, and leadership. Another significant aspect of the samurai legacy is the continued reverence for samurai history and traditions. Samurai castles, temples, and artifacts are preserved as cultural heritage sites, attracting tourists and history enthusiasts. The popularity of samurai-themed movies, TV shows, and video games also reflects the enduring appeal of the samurai ethos. In modern Japan, the influence of the samurai can be seen in various fields, including martial arts, literature, and business. Many martial arts disciplines trace their roots back to samurai combat techniques, preserving the warrior spirit in contemporary practice. Samurai philosophy and wisdom are often cited in Japanese literature and philosophy, offering insights into honor, duty, and resilience. In the business world, the principles of Bushido, such as loyalty, integrity, and discipline, continue to inform corporate culture and leadership practices. The legacy of the samurai serves as a reminder of Japan's rich history and cultural heritage, inspiring admiration and respect for the values embodied by these legendary warriors. Comparing the samurai class to other historical warrior classes reveals intriguing differences and similarities. While European knights were known for their chivalry and loyalty to their lords, samurai in Japan adhered to the strict code of Bushido, emphasizing honor, courage, and self-discipline. In contrast, Mongol warriors under Genghis Khan's rule were renowned for their fierce tactics and conquests, expanding their empire through military prowess. The Roman legionnaires, disciplined soldiers of ancient Rome, shared similarities with samurai in their dedication to duty and loyalty to the state. In terms of numbers, the samurai class in Japan comprised a smaller percentage of the population compared to the vast armies of Mongol warriors or Roman legionnaires. Despite these differences, all these warrior classes played crucial roles in shaping the histories of their respective civilizations and embodying the values of honor, loyalty, and martial skill. The legacy of the samurai in modern Japan continues to resonate in various aspects of Japanese society and culture. While the traditional role of the samurai as warriors has evolved over time, their influence can still be seen in contemporary Japan. The enduring fascination with Bushido, the samurai code of honor and ethics, inspires individuals worldwide. Samurai history and traditions are preserved in cultural heritage sites and popular media. The samurai ethos influences martial arts, literature, and business practices in Japan. The values of honor, loyalty, and discipline embodied by the samurai continue to shape Japan's identity and cultural landscape.